a lovely chap. Didn't have a lot of experience, but he seems enthusiastic, and that's the most important thing.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm and... Excuse me, who's that?
If you could sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
No.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
Who are you?
Well, stay away from the device, sir.
All right, mate, keep your hair on. You're only a blip anyway.
What?
Jenny, why is there an armed man in my studio?
Who are you?
Oh, hi, I'm Andy. Drop Dead Security.
Unfortunate name.
Yeah, I was thinking of changing it.
Jenny, who is
I've
this?
had all these cards printed.
Boseman hired him. What, to protect the device? He seems really invested in it, insisted on breathing in personally.
Do you know how to use
Yeah,
it?
I did.
You don't sound very sure about that.
Oh, what? Yeah, but it's fine, right? I took a course.
3 months?
2 days.
Brilliant.
10 seconds, everybody. You okay?
I hate guns.
Oh, I think they're quite fun.
5, 4,
Schedule away for a
3.
night of smiles with Jeremy Donaldson and Megan.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March, 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chittlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named Happiness Collective have been working on a
Sorry.
secret project.
They claim their Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. Tonight, live on Channel 1, we'll be putting that claim to the test.
We'll be in and out of the schedule.
God, sorry again. Yeah.
In and out of the schedule.
No. Oh, sorry, I think it's my allergies. Thank you. I think it's my allergies. I'm really playing up today.
We're on and off all night. You'll go.
We'll have guests from the world of science, politics and entertainment, and of course, those all-important results.
So don't change that channel. Stick with Channel 1 or eat.
No, it's getting worse. I think it might be your perfume. I think it's her perfume.
Right, I noticed you managed to hold it together through Megan's line.
What? Oh, sorry, mate. I think my ears are swelling.
Well, good luck with that. It's the night of smiles.
Nice smiles.
Roll the timers.
45 seconds.
Magnus's list, we can unlock that glass panel on the relay machine to your left.
Welcome to the Night of Smiles. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass test of its type. So let's meet the man behind the merriment, Dr. Charles Magnus.
Dr. Magnus, thank you for joining us. I understand you're the leader of the Happiness Collective, is that right?
Dr. Magnus?
Excuse me, young man.
Me?
Yes. Did you say it was your job to stop the big red button being pressed?
Yeah, it pretty much sums it up, yeah.
You do realise I built that machine?
Oh, I don't know anything about the science of it. No, don't come too close, though.
I have spent my entire adult life trying to make everyone in the world, including myself, happier. That's a noble aim, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's lovely, that. Well done.
Thanks. Well, the thing is, to bring my work, my life's work, to completion, I need to press that button. Do you understand me, Andy?
Yeah, but the thing is, I can't have you doing that, see, so...
This is ridiculous.
Just realising that now, are we?
I'm sorry, Andy. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going out live right now, and the whole point of this segment is that it culminates in that big button being pushed. Now, I don't know what our boss has told you, but you must have misunderstood because he...
What are you doing, Jenny?
I don't know what our boss told you, but you must have misunderstood because he would never sabotage this show.
Just follow your orders, Andy.
When did Boseman put that in?
I have literally no idea what is happening.
Right, stay back. Stay back.
I love this thing. I'm going to have these put in everywhere.
Right, stay back. Stay back! I'm drawing my gun, right? Shit, stuck.
Andy!
Oh, bugger! Sorry, my toe!
Blithering idiot. The police can keep him. Bloody fool can't guard a bloody button. This is what happens when there's no time for a proper candidate selection process. I've always said it. Just pick another one. If we tell everyone we're getting stuck in a time loop, they'll be sure not to press that button. I've installed a tannoy in the studio. Leave this to me. I'm a master of explanation and negotiation.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact time my mother walked out. Honestly, I don't see why that's so hard for you to remember.
If you could just sit here, please, Dr. Magnus. The host will be with you shortly.
Yes. Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
This reminds me of the time I accidentally ate a load of acid instead of my banana sandwich.
We've all been there, Colin.
Jeremy, this is Dr. Magnus. He is the scientist.
Attention, National Nightly News team. Please gather everybody by the sofas.
Sorry, I'm late. Unstable cat. Was that Boseman?
This is Boseman.
Is this a drill?
This is not a drill.
Right, okay, Chester, if you could please join us on the sofas.
And the crew, please. I'm on my way down.
Okay, and the crew, please. So, I have no idea. Is this someone's birthday? Anyone?
Right, I've gathered you all here because I'm afraid I have to tell you something that's going to be hard to comprehend. For all of you, this is a normal day. But for Alex, Winston, and I, it is repeating over and over again. We are trapped in some sort of time loop. And it always begins when someone presses the button on that infernal machine over there.
The Euphoria device? Impossible. Temporal attunement ironed out all the problems with the time circuitry months ago.
I'm sorry, are you quite all right, Robert?
Yes, I'm fine, Jeremy. Look, I know this is hard to accept, but if you'll just
Not
listen...
for me.
What's that, Colin?
Not my first time. Been caught in a couple of these.
You're experienced with time loops, Colin.
Oh yeah, Spong's always getting caught up in stuff like this. Time loops, multiverses. Standard Wednesday. I'm pretty much immune to this stuff now.
I'm sorry, are we choosing to believe this?
Of course not. There's no such thing as a time loop. It's impossible.
It throws up too many paradoxes.
Exactly. Too many paradoxes. It's an impossibility.
Well, it may be an impossibility, but Winston and I are trapped in one right now.
Well, it can't be our machine. We haven't even started it up yet.
Yes, and that's exactly how it's going to stay.
What, you're cancelling the show?
We're already live, I believe.
Yes, a few minutes now.
I'm sorry, the viewing public are currently watching you have a massive nervous breakdown. That can't be good.
Can we get security up here, please?
Yes, and a doctor.
Is everything okay at home, Mr. Boseman?
Yes, everything is okay at home. I'm telling you, that machine is going to break reality itself.
That's also impossible.
The Department of Metaversal Stability fixed that issue months ago.
This machine is totally safe. I will prove it to you.
Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, Mr. Boseman, stop.
Is everything all right here, Mr. Boseman?
Help me restrain this man.
I think he's having an episode.
Standard time loop stuff, this never works.
Why don't you believe me?
Could you let the guest go, please?
No, you don't understand.
Why don't you let him go, Robert, and we can go have a little chat about it?
We don't need a little chat. Oh, for God's sake.
I don't know what sort of operation you clowns think you're running here, but if you think you can stand in the way of science, you've got another thing coming.
Well, I tried. Okay, carry on then. I'm going back to my office.
If you could just come with us for a moment, sir.
Of course.
Okay, everyone, back to your places, please. It's okay. Save this.
Well, firstly, an apology to our viewers at home who've had to witness, well, what just happened. Our boss has been having a breakdown on national television. Personally, I can't think of anything more mortifying, but I can assure you he will receive the best possible care.
After him! He's heading for the stairs!
Meanwhile, everyone here feels a bit upset, so now would be a perfect time to test a device which makes the unlikely claim of being able to cheer everybody up. Dr. Magnus?
Yes.
Actually, the machine uses resonance to raise the...
No one cares, Chester.
Useless fucking idiots. Right. We can't break the machine, and we can't break the show. That just leaves the scientists. I know what to do. Restart the loop. Found the solution. No scientists, no experiment. Sit back and relax, Winston. This one's all me. It's going to be a very short show.
And you're sure you haven't seen them?
Not for the last half an hour or so. I'm normally out here by now banging on about numbers.
And you've checked everywhere. The break room, Dr. Magnus's dressing room.
Break room, they're always out of the dressing room by now.
Colin, can you please just go and check if they're in the dressing room and I'll get security to do another look around. Don't press that button.
Good.
I do believe we were sent there on purpose, Chester.
On purpose? Dr. Magnus, who?
Oh, bugger.
On purpose? Dr. Magnus, who? Who would have sent us there, intentionally?
I'm not sure. Perhaps it was a competition.
The Blissful Union?
Yes, those nerds have been jealous of our euphoria device ever since we secured the funding from Advance.
They're trying to stop us?
Yes, we must proceed immediately.
Dr. Magnus, if we hadn't have got out of there, I'm not sure.
If you hadn't got us out, Chester, I mean, that thing. If you hadn't broken the door down and got us out with that unexpectedly impressive show of strength, well, You did well today, Mr. Mims. You did well.
Dr. Magnus, that's the kindest thing you've ever said to me.
I know I've been a bit harsh on you in the past, Chester, but I promise that this changes from now until the end of time.
Thank you, sir. That means so much.
There you are, Dr. Magnus. We were worried something had happened to you. Glad you both look fine. Actually, you look like you've seen a ghost. Are you all right?
We have undergone a deeply distressing and scientifically implausible trauma at the hands of our enemies. We are absolutely and definitively not all right. Fortunately, a remedy is at hand.
Dr. Magnus, we're not even...
The solution is flawless. The execution is the problem. I don't know why you suggested the old haunted Bannon soundstage. Terrible idea. But I have a better place. Don't worry, Alex. I'll clean up your mess. Okay, there is no way those scientists are showing up on this show. I think we're good.
And you're sure you haven't seen them?
It's so infuriating you don't remember our conversations, you know.
And you've checked everywhere, the break room, Dr. Magnus's dressing room.
Yes, and I sealed off the old Bannon soundstage.
Wait, why would you do that? Colin, can you please just go and check if they're in the dressing room and I'll get security to do another look around. Oh, and don't press that button.
Every time.
Why can't he press the button? Isn't that the whole point?
Yes, look all you want. You won't find them this time.
Why can't he press the button? Isn't that the whole point, isn't it? Wait, where is everybody? I was supposed to be speaking to Professor What's-His-Face and his collection of smiling idiots. Jenny?
Yes, Dr. Charles Magnus and his assistant. Sorry, I'm late filing my teeth. Where are the guests? They seem to have mysteriously disappeared. I'll have them back here by the time you come back from the titles, don't worry.
It's considered poor form to lose the guests, Jenny.
Well, next time, I'll read the news and you can chase the wandering scientists. How about that? 10 seconds!
Probably do a good job.
Oh, you can make Colin my co-anchor. Going in 5, 4, 3...
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March, 1985, and this is The Night of Smiles. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass experiment of its type. So let's talk about the man behind the merriment. Dr. Charles Magnus, who will be speaking to you later this evening. Truly a visionary. Right, Jeremy?
Yes, if by visionary you mean...
Sabotage!
Dr. Magnus, what happened?
He told us it was the way to get into the studio.
It didn't seem believable, but he was so convincing.
Are you all right?
He told us that all...
Yes, I bloody was.
He told us that all television studios were entered by shoot.
We don't work in television. How are we supposed to know?
So we got in and...
The darkness,
and
the sliding, the big splash, and the wet.
And the clownfish.
Lucky the viscosity was low, or heaven knows what would have happened.
Somebody is clearly out to sabotage us.
Yes, Dr. Magnus, probably the blissful union.
I concur. Those nasty little geese. We must start the experiment immediately.
Wait.
Right, I've had enough. There's only one real solution that will fix this once and for all. Once more into the breach, dear Winston. Once more.
And you're sure you haven't seen them?
Nope, he
Yes, they definitely won't be coming on now.
And you've checked everywhere. The break room, Dr. Magnus's dressing room.
Spooky place, the aquarium.
Actually had to kill them,
Colin, why would you check that?
I didn't mean to. I
Or any
thought
other
knocking them
crazy places you
unconscious
can
would
think of.
work, but
Go to the
then they
dressing
fought
room.
We're not
back
going to
and...
be there, we've been through
Well,
this.
Colin, please,
His
just go
dressing
and check
room
if they're
is
in
in
the
a
dressing room.
right
And I will
state.
get security to do another look around. Oh, and don't press that button.
Why can't he press the button? That's the whole point,
But
isn't it?
on the bright side,
Wait,
they
where
won't
is
press the
everybody?
button now.
Aren't we supposed to
So
be
we're
spinning a
out of the
whole
loop,
whatnot
which
or
is...
something from the grinning morons?
We're out of the loop.
Jenny?
Yes,
And I
Dr.
killed
Magnus
them.
and his assistant.
So sorry I'm late. Blood everywhere. Where are the guests?
Both of them have mysteriously
Oh,
disappeared.
no. I can't go to jail.
You before you come back
I wouldn't do well in the joint, Alex.
Fine, Jenny.
That won't do it all.
Next time, I read the news and you chase after the wandering scientist. How about that? 10 seconds.
Scientists, you really think there should be some sort of quality check?
Going in 5, 4. Mr. Boseman?
Sorry, Jenny, but I just can't live with this timeline. We're going again.
By the worrying number of lumps under my left arm. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one has turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm.
Right, here
number
we
of
are
lumps
again.
under
Your
my
button
left
should be
arm.
working, Winston.
The date
Push
my
it to
childhood
freeze time.
sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father.
So, only Magnus can stop the experiment, which he doesn't want to do. Which means we'll just have to fix his machine for him. It's got to be something to do with the relay, that contraption on your left. Fortunately, I found some instructions for it lying around in Magnus's definitely unlocked briefcase. Let's get a good look at it now. Apparently, altering the machine's core workings is all about the wires, but we can't get at them because of the glass panel, which appears to have an unnecessarily complex combination lock. The instructions say, there is no way to unlock the relay without your customized combination, so we suggest writing it down or not forgetting it. Well, that's a great help. Maybe we'll get lucky and it's already set correctly? There should be a small button next to the combination to allow you to check it. Give it a press now and let's see what happens. All those red lights should indicate that none of the combination is correct. Ah well, that probably would have been too convenient and unfulfilling if the code was already entered for us. It says here you should be able to change the number by moving the dials up or down. Then, as we did before, press the button to see if we've entered the code correctly. Just check you can change the numbers now. Excellent. That all seems to be working. I suppose we'll just have to work out the code the old-fashioned way. Take a look at the notepad and I'll show you where I'm at with it all. As I was saying before that nasty business with the dead scientists, Magnus's rambling when he enters the studio correlates perfectly with the combination lock on the relay machine. So it seems to me, if we figure out all those bits of information, we can unlock the device and fix their infernal contraption. With that in mind, the combination is the total number of days Magnus has been on where the other person didn't show up, the number of worrying lumps under his left arm, the very date his childhood sweetheart married his best friend, the age of Magnus's cat when he ran him over, how many conversations Magnus has had with his father, and the exact time his mother walked out. My God, his life sounds awful. Still, the next step is getting Magnus to spill the beans on all that information. We've already seen that disrupting the show hasn't helped us with anything, but I thought adding a second guest to sow a little more chaos might get the good doctor talking. Take a look to your right. I've put my Rolodex down there with you, with all the celebrities I can book for the show at short notice. Give it a spin now. When you've chosen your guest, simply pull their card out of the Rolodex and I'll book them for the next loop. Madder than 13-8 with 5 sharps, but at least he gets people talking. Right, now that we know who we're bringing on the show, let's turn back to the pad and I'll tell you how we'll solve this thing. When you hear any useful information, you can press the handy bell I put under the pad. I've got your broadcast feed coming directly to my office, so I'll be able to see and hear what's on your main screen whenever you ring the bell. Try it now, let's just check I can hear it. Perfect. You press it when you hear anything about the combination. When I hear it, if it's relevant, I'll write it out for us on the pad so we can keep track of it all. Once we have enough to figure out the code, we can fix this damn machine and get out of this mess. I can get us started because I happen to hear about the unfortunate passing of his father from a severe sawdust allergy, apparently, when he got home from the circus. So we'll put that down now. Right, so remember, we're looking for the information to solve the combination lock. Magnus will hopefully reveal different pieces of the information based on who you've chosen to bring on the show via the Rolodex. You'll ring the bell anytime you hear anything relevant, and I'll note it down. And you can start and stop the loops at any time by pressing the big red button on the relay machine. Let's get started. I can't deny he ups the ratings when he's on, but for a man whose brand is being right, he's got a very poor success rate.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact
Not
time
easy working for big science, is it?
No, it's me. I'm afraid I have trouble remembering impossibly convoluted things.
Like science, eh?
No.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
Dr. Magnus, this is Alan James. If you could both take a seat, please. The host will be with you shortly.
Not you.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Big science, mate.
Oh, God, not in this time.
Not who? Oh, God.
Look, I'm not happy about it either.
Jeremy Donaldson.
Nice to meet you.
They all say that at first. Mr. James.
Nice to be back.
For at least one of us.
Sorry, I'm late. Poisoned smoothie. Dr. Magnus.
Nice to meet you.
Both of you this time, eh? I hope you come ready.
10 seconds.
You do know this isn't the news, don't you? Has anyone told Mr. James?
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chintlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named Happiness Collective have been working on a secret project.
Absolutely nothing suspicious about that.
They claim their Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. Tonight, live on Channel 1, we'll be putting that claim to the test.
Without your consent.
We'll be in and out the schedule throughout the evening, with our very loud special guest to report live on whether the device has brought a smile to your faces.
Or locked it into a...
My God, that sounds awful. Do you really have to listen to that every day, Alex? Let's just turn off the audience monitoring for now. We don't want to have that going off every time.
The Night of Smiles.
We probably don't need to watch these, Alex. Let's get back to the studio here, Alex. We don't want to miss anything important.
We ran it for him. Sad story, actually. Car fell from that lift thing and killed him. Dad was devastated. Had to read all the signage.
Don't think so.
What was your dad like?
Hard to say. I've got more PhDs than I've had conversations with him.
Oh, yes. Me too.
10 seconds.
You have PhDs?
No, a shitty dad.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever mass test of its type. So let's meet the man behind the merriment, Dr. Charles Magnus.
And inexplicably sat next to him is controversial speaker and columnist, and I believe now a best-selling author, Alan James.
Sales have been great, Jeremy. I'm as surprised as you are.
Probably a mix-up with the counting.
And yes, a sequel is on the way. In fact, I have the first proof copy right here. Okay, there seems to have been some sort of mix-up with the measurements. Yeah, that's hard to read, that.
Well, let's turn to the man of the moment, shall we? Dr. Charles Magnus.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm lucky enough to work with an amazing team.
In a secret lab somewhere deep underground?
No, in Chintlebury, near the supermarket.
Where does your funding come from, so-called Dr. Magnus?
A valid question.
Well, prior to last year, we relied mainly on charitable donations, but since Advance came to power, we...
Or as I call them in my new book, Alan James is right here. The corrupteers! Like, corrupt puppeteers. See?
Well, pretty much disregarding all of that, the Assets and Wealth Science program gave us the means to get to tonight in a fraction of the time it would have taken otherwise.
And what did you have to do in return for all that lovely funding?
I beg your pardon?
I have been doing my own research, so-called Dr. Magnus, and this experiment is dangerous.
All science involves risk.
You're messing with the structure of reality.
Hardly.
I've been doing my own research.
We are at the forefront of a new technology. This is how breakthroughs happen. This is how science works.
Well, what if what you call science is all a big lie? What if there's something more, something bigger than science?
You can't get bigger or smaller than science, Mr. James. Science isn't a thing. It has no mass. It is simply a set of tools to understand everything.
What is the real purpose of your happiness device?
To make people happier.
And what if we don't want to be happier? What if we want to spread our misery to others?
Well, how is that different than what I'm doing?
Mass tests.
Don't help him.
You're running mass tests of an experiment that could literally alter us all. We didn't sign up for this. It shouldn't be allowed to happen. It's way too reckless.
Well, look, there's less than a minute now to go. So while we go and get set up with Chester and yourself, Doctor, over at the Euphoria device, we can go live now to the new Advance HQ for a special message from the Prime Ministers, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury.
Good evening, everybody.
Alan, it's just noises.
Okay, so that's about a minute back. If we could get you all over to the device now, please.
I hope you didn't mind me calling you so-called Dr. Magnus back there.
Well, I did rather. I do have 3 PhDs.
3?
Oh, hello.
That sounds like a lot. What actually are they, anyway?
They mean I do my own research.
Like me, you mean?
Not likely, Alex.
Hello again. Chester Mims, 24. My favourite foods are mashed potato, glacé cherries, and cat treats.
Alan James. I think for me it's probably trifle,
10 seconds.
aubergines, and bone marrow.
We're friends now.
Right you are.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Fantastic, the Prime Minister's there, and of course, without the assets and wealth funding...
We wouldn't be about to break the space-time continuum.
Honestly, how would we know? It's been broken for me for years.
I think we can get a counter on the screen. There, and we're going in 10, 9, 8, 7, come on, Jeremy.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think we got everything we need from that sequence. Capital. Didn't take you for a conspiracist, Alex. There's no other reason we should be back here. He's given us what we need already.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact
Not easy
time
working for big science, is it?
No, it's me.
That man could sell anything. I still have my inflatable fireplace to this day. For a man that supposedly has a business empire to run, he was surprisingly available at short notice. He's very spontaneous, Alex, so hopefully he takes us in a helpful direction.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm.
I'm here, yes indeed. It's Crazy Neil here with the scientific deal of the year. Yeah!
Ah, Mr. Neil, so glad you could join us. If you could please sit with Dr. Magnus on the sofa, the host will be with you shortly.
I'll just leave this device here next to this other one, shall I?
Sure, whatever works for you. Sorry, Mr. Mims, but it's going to be a bit of a squash to get you on the sofa
Oh,
now.
that's fine. We don't need him until the experiment starts. But this device...
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
What's this one do?
God knows, it just showed up.
Fascinating.
What's fascinating?
My inability to express my true feelings, if my mother's to be believed.
What's fascinating is how we can offer such quality products at such low prices. Good to see you again, Mr. Donaldson.
Thank goodness we have 2 equally qualified guests, Mr. Neil.
Call me Crazy Neil.
Let's say no for now.
This is Dr. Charles Magnus.
Another equally skilled salesperson, if the reports on your funding levels are to be believed. Jeremy Donaldson, professional setting.
Charles Magnus, impervious to skepticism.
There's no need for skepticism, Jeremy, just the ability to spot a great deal.
Right, of course.
Sorry, I'm late. Flard exploded. Professor Magnus.
Dr. Magnus, apparently.
Either is fine.
And Mr. Neil.
Crazy Neil! When you live the crazy like I do, it's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. Yeah!
Of course it is. Amazing.
10 seconds, everybody.
This should be fun.
Try not to buy anything.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
And a very special guest.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March 1985, and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team and special guests.
That's right. We're joined tonight by a world-renowned scientist and a salesman.
That should say captain of industry.
It does. I amended it on the fly.
The first, fresh from his laboratory in Chintlebury, is Dr. Charles Magnus, head of the Happiness Collective, who claims his Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country.
And our other guest is a man who wears the title of Crazy with Pride and once tried to sell me a self-freezing toaster. I'm still not sure why I would want one, but anyway, it's Crazy Neil.
Yes, indeed. I'm bringing the appliance of science at an unbelievable price.
So don't go away. Stick with Channel 1 all evening as we bring you
The Night of Smiles. Before they speak, Mr. Neil.
There will be plenty of time to talk when we come back from the titles.
Yeah, speaking of that, when will I get a chance to introduce my device so our viewers can compare the two?
Sorry, his device? What's this now?
Salesperson. Sorry, Dr. Magnus, did Mr. Boseman not explain to you that when he invited Mr. Neil...
Crazy Neil.
Sorry, yes. When Mr. Crazy Neil was invited to come on to the show, he brought his own device as an alternative.
You can't be serious. I mean, this is preposterous. I've spent years researching and planning for tonight. Countless hours given up, opportunities ignored, friends lost, lumps that probably should have been checked, and this senseless charlatan is attempting to plagiarize my entire life's work.
You will have plenty of time to make your case, Dr. Magnus.
Back in 10.
It's just... I can't believe it.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, one of the impressive machines behind me will be activated in the first ever mass experiment of its type. But first, let's meet the men behind these multiple merriment machines, Dr. Charles Magnus and Crazy Neil.
Hello, hey, hola, buongiorno. Hi there, Crazy Neil with the best happiness device around. And it's an unreal steal of a deal.
Hello.
Thank you both for joining us. Mr. Neil, let's start with you.
Crazy. When you live the crazy like I do, Mr. Donaldson, it's a lifestyle, not a brand.
Of course. Mr. Neil, you've come here today with, what did you call it again?
Crazy Neil's joyous jubilation contraption. You won't find better out there. No, sir.
What exactly does it do?
Well, you see, you press this button and your greatest dreams, your ultimate happiness, your true bliss, they all come true.
Wow, that's quite the device there. And you say you made it last night?
Yes, ma'am. I saw the show being advertised and I said I wasn't going to be outdone by no buffing in a lab coat. No offence, brainbucks. So I got together with the current Mrs. Crazy Neil, ex-Mrs. Neil's 1 through 3, 5 and 6.
Wow, that's quite the team. And they all happily work together with you?
Well, other than number 4, we're all on speaking terms. Number 5 is the director of a national space program.
Don't think so.
Oh, that's quite the team. And they all happily work together with you?
Well, other than number 4, we're all on speaking terms. Number 5 is the director
likely,
of
Alex.
a national space program.
Why?
So, do tell us, how does it actually work?
Yes, I'd be very curious to know.
I can't give that away, I'm afraid. Otherwise, we'll have knockoff Crazy Neils springing up everywhere.
How very convenient.
Agreed. So let's turn to you, Dr. Magnus. What's the name of your device?
Okay, so it's my turn, is it? About time. I'll have another lump after this, no wonder. They're brought on by unnecessary stress. So, the Happiness Collective is a team of highly qualified professional scientists and engineers from a multitude of institutions and disciplines, and we have curated the Euphoria device, a real scientific breakthrough that will revolutionize contentment in this nation and eventually the wider world.
Well, an equally ambitious claim there. How long did it take your exceptional team to get this all started?
Years, obviously. In the world of actual science, proper processes need to be followed to ensure safety. Standards need to be adhered to at each iteration and...
Absolutely, whereas you did yours last night.
And this is why business is always giving science a wedgie. We give the people what they need when they need it. And that's a Crazy Neil guarantee.
How does your device work, Doctor?
Well, obviously some of that information is proprietary.
See? Convenient.
I'll try and explain the basics as simply as possible.
As simple as getting a crazy deal?
Everything is vibration. Everything is vibrating. A particle is also a wave.
But
and
you can wave goodbye to expensive flights with Crazy Neil's bathroom, surfer, ocean wave machine. When the beach comes to you, may cause electrocution.
A wave is, if you like, a note, and we all vibrate at different notes depending on our mood. Happier people vibrate at a higher frequency than sad people, for example.
I know my wife is always happier when she's vibrating, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I give up.
I understand, Dr. Magnus. Thank you. Megan?
Yes. Well, there is only a minute or two to go now. So while we go and get set up with the devices, let's go and head on live to the new Advance HQ for a special message from the Prime Ministers, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury.
Okay, we've got about a minute. Lovely stuff. If we could get you all over to the devices now, please.
So who won?
Sorry?
Well, you're going to start up my device, or Brainbox is here.
I think, Mr. Neil, while it's been very entertaining having you on the show, we're probably going to go with Dr. Magnus's device.
Some sanity at last. Chester.
Yes, Dr. Magnus.
It looks like nickel and copper might have brought a little friend. Let's get another dermatologist appointment for next week, shall we?
Okie dokie, I'll make a note of that straight away. Let's invite Zinc along to the party.
Please don't make light of the system. Just book the fucking appointment.
What's he charging you for this bucket of bolts?
10
Whatever
seconds.
it is, I'll half the cost.
You fundamentally misunderstood this. 5 seconds, push the right button. 3, 2.
Fantastic. The Prime Minister's there.
Who are, of course, responsible in so many ways for what we're witnessing tonight.
So who's going to get their button pressed?
Well, I'm personally obviously sure that they'd both prove equal value to society.
I tell
but
you
I
what,
think we're probably...
I'll give you your first press for free.
No!
Oh, well, that ain't right, huh?
Please, Mr. Neil, much better to leave these things to the professionals.
Nailed that one, Alex. We're done here. Didn't take you for a conspiracist, Alex. There's no other reason we should be back here. He's given us what we need already.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend, the age my cat was when I ran him over, the number of conversations I've had with my father, and the exact
Not easy
time
working for big science, is it?
I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. Really, Winston? You could at least try to look for clues. Algebra. Ugh. I swore I'd never let him back on television. Curse this improbable scenario for making a liar of Bob Boseman.
I've told you 1,000 times, Chester. It's the number of blind dates I've been on when no one's turned up, followed by the worrying number of lumps under my left arm, the date my childhood sweetheart married my best friend.
Sounds
the
like
age
my life. Hello, Jeff Algebra.
Doctor.
You must be Charles. Bob Boseman's told me all about you.
If you could just sit here, please, gentlemen. The host will be with you shortly.
Not you, Chester.
Sorry, Dr. Magnus.
Do you mind if I call you Charles?
Actually, I prefer Excuse me, what are you doing?
Leave that alone, please, Colin.
Oh, Christ, he's seriously, they must be desperate.
Who must?
You must be desperate.
You have no idea.
Who's desperate?
My ovaries, if you believe my mother. Jeremy, this is Dr. Charles Magnus, and I believe you remember Jeff Algebra.
The drama teacher?
Sorry, I'm late. Nubbin removal.
With the annoying teenagers?
Actually, I'm a maths teacher.
Wonderful. In that case, you're overqualified for this dumb show.
Maths teacher, and of course, soon to be biographer. Eh, Charlie?
5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 13th of March 1985 and this is a Channel 1 special event hosted by your national nightly news team.
In a laboratory nestled in the sleepy hills of Chittlebury, Dr. Charles Magnus and his optimistically named Happiness Collective
Is that Chintler with an I or a Y?
have been working on a secret project.
They claim their Euphoria device will raise overall happiness levels throughout the country. Tonight, live on Channel 1, we'll be putting that claim to the test.
We're delighted, it says here, to welcome the project lead, Dr. Charles Magnus, for some inexplicable reason, a maths teacher.
And biographer.
What are you talking about?
We'll have reporters the length and breadth of the country and, of course, those all-important results.
So don't move that dial. Stick with Channel 1 all evening as we bring you
The
Night of Smiles.
45 seconds back.
Sorry, Jeff, you know you're not meant to be saying that line.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Megan.
Yeah.
I got carried away. It's only my second time on TV, you know.
You can barely tell.
Both times with you, actually. You're like my lucky charm. Angela will get jealous.
She needn't.
Got that one.
And, of course, I'll be back when the show's done. Bob's promised me that this afternoon.
Bob. Sorry, you mean Robert Boseman?
Yes. Yes, he's hired me to write a 4-part TV dramatisation of the life of this chap right here.
Me? Well, I haven't consented to
seconds.
this.
Apparently you have. Check your
I think
contract.
so. I do love a bit of
Going
fine print.
in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. In just a few minutes, the impressive machine behind me will be activated in the first ever math experiment of its type. But before we begin the bliss, let's meet our guests, Dr. Charles Magnus and his official biographer, Jeff Algebra.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to be back, Megan.
A big day for you. You must be feeling overwhelmed, I imagine.
Christ, yes. Do you know, I had to jump in a taxi straight after the Year 10 Drama Club just to get here today. So, all in all, I'd say it is pretty bloody thrilling.
I think she was talking to the doctor.
Oh, yes. Of course. Sorry.
Dr. Magnus, an exciting day.
Well, yes, it is, after all, the apex of my life's endeavour.
Oh, cracking stuff. Apex of my endeavour. Cracking.
Quite a daunting task you've undertaken.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought so too. But I was pacing around in that little holding area you have for guests through there.
The green room.
No, it's a sort of pinky purple.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was pacing around in there asking myself, what have I got in common with a great big brain box like Chaz here?
Please don't touch me.
But how does a numbskull like me connect with a chuffing genius like the Chancellor?
I really don't like either of those names.
But then we were talking before the show.
Were we?
And he told me a story from his life, and I realised that this genius and I...
What story is this?
We're the same.
I don't like talking about myself.
You see, when I was 16, there was only one girl that I wanted to invite to the school dance. Angela Angular, the joiner's girl. Now, everyone in the village loved Angela because she had the sweetest heart and back then a working spine, see? My best friend in them days was Gareth Major Minor, whose dad was an army trumpeter. Gareth and Angela had been dating for a few months and things were going very well for them. But I was lonely, see?
I'm not sure what this has to do with my life.
Ah, well, Gareth confided in me that he'd been having some trouble in the bedroom department. Performance anxiety, probably. We were all young, after all.
God, I have just been sick in my mouth, actually.
Well, I was an ambitious fellow, like the Chuckmeister here. So what I did was... I convinced Angela that the reason for Gareth's disappointing nocturnal activities... This is still brilliant. I convinced her that he was gay, see?
Nonsense.
Wow.
I know, right? Pretty damn clever. Anyway, she bought it, and not only did she go to the dance with me, but she's been my wife this last 14 years, the first 6 of which were really excellent.
Wow. You do know you're on television, don't you, Jeff?
Don't think so.
Yes, sorry, I am trying to keep it brief. My point is that exactly the same thing happened to Dr. Magnus here. We're like
Not
reflections of each other. So, to answer your original question, yeah?
Which was clearly meant for the doctor.
Yes, it is daunting to try and capture the complexities of this brilliant man in 4 short hours of TV drama, less when you allow for the adverts. But you see, I've got a hook to start from, A place of truth, because we're so similar, Chip and I.
This is outrageous.
Outrageous fortune.
Don't even know this, man. We are in no way like...
Nonsense.
I thought we were here to talk about the machine.
No one cares about the science. It's all about the human story.
Well, perhaps you could just try and talk about what we're choosing to call the science for just a moment.
Sorry, Jeremy. Well, there is no time, I'm afraid. We're going to have to go live now to Advance's brand new headquarters for a special message of goodwill from the Prime Ministers. Let's go to that now.
Okay, that's a minute back. Can we get everyone to the machine?
Oh, yes. Oh, hey, maybe we should push the button together, Charlie?
Actually, that's...
No one cares about you. It's all about Chuck and me. Two peas in a pod, making history together.
Listen to me, you stupid twat. We are not two peas in a pod. We are nothing alike. You did something truly awful and stole your best friend's girlfriend, whereas I had to watch my childhood sweetheart marry my best friend on the 5th anniversary of my father's death. So, in your story, I'd be Gareth. Do you see? Gareth, who you fucked over for your narcissistic enjoyment. You're a pathetic excuse for a human being.
Ah. Right you are. I think I might have got the wrong end of the stick there.
Looks that way, doesn't it?
So I'm not pushing the button?
No!
We're live?
Yes, fantastic. That was the Prime Minister's there. And, of course, without the assets and wealth funding...
Yeah, well,
received...
I'd still be teaching...
Yes.
Not me again, right. Yeah.
You're Chester.
Chester Mims, 24. My party tricks include close-up card magic, playing the banjo, and no gag reflex.
Oh, good list.
And you'll be pressing this big button for us and starting the experiment, is that correct?
Yes. One man shall push a button and the rest of mankind shall smile. That's Mims with 2 M's.
Well, I think we can get a counter on the screen now.
And 1 M at the beginning, obviously.
We're going in 10.
So 3 then.
9, 8,
7, 6,
5, come on.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, safe to say we got everything out of that guest. The soul of a warrior in the body of a weeping willow. I have all her works on VHS.